Hello, Mike here with MatterFix.io. This is what we call our quick start video for scanning with the Matterport Pro3 camera. We're going to be using one of our Pro3 complete rental kits to walk you through completely from beginning to end the basics of doing scanning. We still would encourage you to look at some of the other videos if you get stuck, like adding floors or some of the special things that can come up. But for your basic scanning, this should get you up and going. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to use our rental kit. You can see it right here. This is our Pro3 rental kit. But everything in there is similar. If you have your own Pro3 camera that you're going to be using, you should have basically all the same items. So we're going to go over the equipment that you have, kind of scope out this little area, show what we're going to scan, and then basically going to go ahead and start and assemble everything and kind of walk you through the basics of scanning with the Pro3 camera. So first of all, here's the Pro3 complete rental kit. If you rented this from us, this is our most common configuration. It comes in this Pelican case. Everything's inside. We also have a QR code on the front here. This will take you to our complete series of videos. It's kind of broken down all the stages of scanning and go into more detail. If you have any further questions, I would encourage you to go there, and you should be able to get answers to any questions there. Okay, one thing I forgot. In addition to the QR code on our case, this takes you to our complete, I think there's 4 or 5 videos, kind of walks you through all the steps in scanning. But in addition to that, on our camera, we'll have 2 QR codes. One will go to this quick start video that I've done today. So if you scan that, it'll take you to that video. And then the second one will be the same as this one. That'll take you to our more extensive series of videos that covers kind of all aspects of scanning and uploading and what to do after you've uploaded. So I just wanted to throw that in there. So here's the Pro3 complete kit that we send out. It'll have removable zip ties here. Just take those off. You can squeeze them and remove them. Save them and put them back on when you go to ship the kit back. You'll open it up. You're going to get an iPad. It'll be a little bit different than this. This is my iPad, but you're going to have an iPad that's going to have the Capture app loaded on it. You got the charger assembly, the cable and the block, and then the cradle that the batteries fit into, 2 batteries, the tripod adapter or T-mount, the charger for and a charger block for the iPad, and then the tripod. I have a couple extra tripod adapters in here, and the tripod. So that's kind of what you're getting with the kit. In addition, we encourage you to have a couple of door stops. These are the ones Matterport sells, but you can use any kind. Typically, you're going to want to have doors held open if they won't stay open by themselves while you're scanning. So the door stops are a handy addition to your kit. So like I said, we're going to walk you through the small space that we're going to scan for the purposes of this guide. Then we're going to set up the equipment, and then we're going to go ahead and do the scanning. So this particular space here, this happens to be some extra office space that we have. There's the exterior, the front door, this room, another small room, and then there's a third room. So we're quickly going to go through and scan these just to kind of go over the basics of scanning. So let's go ahead and get the equipment set up first. You're going to want to get your tripod out. We use the Manfrotto 190X4 tripods. They're small enough that they fit in our kit, and they're also very heavy duty. We have very few problems with these. They go out on rentals all the time, and they hold up real well. Typically, I'm going to extend all the legs on this tripod. You want to make sure the legs are clamped tight, the leg clamps are tight, and then if your tripod has this feature where this center arm can come up and down, you want to make sure that that's fully tightened. Any looseness in the tripod or in the head can cause the unstable error in the Pro3 camera. So you got the tripod set up. The next thing you want to do is put your tripod adapter or T-mount on there. You want to tighten this fairly tight, so If it was to be loose and wiggle, that can cause the unstable air. I'll disengage the clamp. This is what holds the camera in place. When this is closed, these little pieces here are basically fixed. One of them can move slightly, but they're essentially fixed. When you open it, they're both loose. You drop the camera down. When you clamp it, that locks it in place. So the next thing I'm going to do is get the camera out. This is one of our rental cameras. We always make sure these have been fully tested and recalibrated if needed before they're sent out, so you know you're getting a good working piece of equipment. The battery, it has some contacts on one side. You can look inside and you can see where they go. So it slides in here. It won't let you put it in the wrong way. I always put the battery in, then I wiggle a little bit and make sure these locks that hold the battery in place are fully engaged. Sometimes you can put it part way in and they won't be fully engaged, and then you set the camera up and the battery can drop out. So wiggle those, make sure that's fully engaged. Take the lens cap off. Believe me, I've forgotten that several times. And that definitely is an issue, or can be a problem. Okay, so you're ready. You want to set the camera on here. The important thing is that the bottom of the camera is parallel with the top of the T-mount. You don't want it in there one way or the other. You want to set it down. I like to put my hand here and kind of force. You can feel when it's level. There, it's nice and good and level. And then you go ahead and clamp it. And then powering the camera up, very easy. You're going to see the battery indicator first. You hold it. Once it goes to the Matterport icon, you're basically good to go. It's going to go up through its whole boot sequence. So we got that. We got the camera set up. Now I'm going to go over to the iPad, and the iPad you'll get from us is already going to have the Matterport Capture app on it. If you don't have it on your device, you just go to any the Google Play Store or the iOS Store and just Google Matterport. You'll see that icon. It'll come up. That's a free app. Download it. You don't need an account to use it. It's just it's a free app you can use. Okay, if you open it up here, since I've got other scan jobs here, it's opening up my jobs. The jobs is where it stores the stuff you're currently working on. So if I want to, since we're going to do a new scan here, I'm going to select new job, and I'm going to call this, I'll just call it Quick Start. Quick Start. We're going to call that Quick Start. It actually shows a little map with the menu. It uses GPS, or I think it can go through to the tablet and get its location that way. But I typically just put a placeholder there, and I fill out more detail at the end of the day, you know, if I want the exact address or the name of the project or anything like that. Hit next. It opens up. This is the screen. You're ready to start scanning. Now the camera is booted up to the point you see the little camera icon, and you see the animated Wi-Fi antenna waves. That means it's broadcasting its Wi-Fi network. The camera broadcasts the Wi-Fi network. Your capture device connects to it, and each time you do a scan, you control the camera from the capture app on the iPad. Each time you do a scan, it collects all the data and immediately transfers all the data over to the iPad. There's no data that's stored on the camera here. So last, of course, if you're anytime you're connecting Wi-Fi, you want to go in and find the camera network and connect to it. So I'm going to toggle this off, toggle it back on. It didn't show up there at first. There we go. So it's always going to be Matterport, and then it's going to be the serial number of the camera, which starts with a Q. So there's no other cameras around here, Pro3, so I know this is the one. Click that, and then fairly soon you should see, you can see just now, it went to this. This means it's connected. It's showing you the battery level and that you have a connection. So if I go back to the Capture app, you can confirm here that it's connected to a Matterport Pro3. You could switch to the iPad if you're doing iPad, but of course you want to be connected to the Matterport Pro3. And then lastly, a quick little thing, your options here. 3D scanning is what you're always doing if you're doing a regular Matterport scan and you want to, you know, add to the dollhouse and for the project, you want to be set on 3D scan. 360 capture is just to capture a 360 image. If you need to do something outside, away, that's not connected to the model, but you want a picture of it, you would switch to that mode. 3D scans where you're going to be. And as far as the density goes, this only applies to the Pro3 camera with a LiDAR sensor. Typically we stay on standard density. Medium and high density, the camera moves slower and it collects a lot more data, but it's not really necessary except in specialized cases. So most of the time you're going to be scanning, or we suggest that you scan on standard density. Okay, so now we're set up and ready to scan. The one thing I didn't mention was kind of prepping your area before you scan. So I'm going to walk you through with a couple little pointers on prepping the area you're going to scan. You always want to, if you want to be able to see outside of a window, you always want to open the blinds. So we'll pretend like we wanted to see outside of here to see the outside. You want to open the blinds. You want your doors, anytime the camera can see a doorway, you want it in the position that you want it to be in the scan. So since I'm going to scan this room, and this room, I am going to want to have this door open the whole time I'm scanning here, and I'm going to want to have that door open. If I was to close this door while I was scanning out here, the camera is going to think there's a solid surface here. It's going to put a mesh here, and you won't be able to navigate through there because it'll think that there's a wall there. So anytime the camera can see a doorway, if you're going to want to capture what's on the other side of that doorway and have it connected, you want that doorway to be open. So for here, I'm going to have that back door open, I'm going to have this door open, then I'm going to show you how to scan outside. So when I get probably up to here, close, you know, within 30 feet or so of that doorway, I'm going to go ahead and prop that door open while I scan here, 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 all the way, so that the camera has seen that door open, doesn't put a mesh there, so when I go outside, everything will connect together correctly. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and scan. I'm going to walk you through kind of just this real small little 3-room model here with the outside front, just so you get an idea of how it's supposed to go. So I'm going to go ahead and open the Capture app back up. I'm going to confirm I'm still connected to the Matterport Pro3. My options, I'm on standard density. I've named the project Quick Start. So basically I'm ready to go. I'm going to take the camera, go to the back. As you're probably aware, Matterport, as it builds a model, each subsequent scan needs to be able to see something you've already scanned, so it knows how to align it and how to create the model as you go. You can't, I couldn't scan here and then move the camera out and go into that other room in the corner and scan there, because the camera wouldn't be able to line up to figure out where the positions are. Another tip is, when you get ready to start, I always take and face the camera directly to a wall perpendicular with it. And what that does is that usually will line the scan up so that the walls are parallel or perpendicular with this grid pattern here. It's just kind of odd if it's in there at 45 degrees when you're scanning your model. Kind of is a little disorienting to keep track of what's going on. So you start like this. Typically you're going to get it to line up one way or the other with the grid pattern. So I'm going to push the scan button. You'll see the camera doesn't make much noise at all. The mirror is spinning, the motor's turning. There's a little LED progress thing here that shows you where you're at. So we've done the 4th stop now. So now it's done, and it's going to be transferring data over to the iPad. So you can see it pretty well. I mean, it's not perfect, but it pretty well lined up so that this wall is parallel or perpendicular with the grid pattern. So we're ready to go here. Now you also notice there's a black spot under the camera. The camera couldn't see there. When we capture another location here, that if the camera can see that in this one, it'll fill that in the way it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna move the camera over there, push the start button, walk behind it. If you get in a position where the camera's against the wall and you can't really walk behind it, you basically just step outside the room around the corner and initiate the scan there. Okay, let's see what this fills in here when it, so there's that black, so there, it filled in most of it. Now the camera couldn't see down here, that was too close to the bottom of this position here, so we still have a little black spot there. I'm going to go ahead, this is a fairly small room. Typically I would do 2 scans in here. I'd probably do one just inside the doorway like this and another one over here, just to make sure that it's filled everything in. If you're doing AEC scanning, you definitely want more scan points. If you're doing virtual tour, you're kind of wanting to think, what's the walking? You want to capture the normal walking path plus any extra scans you need to fill in any black areas or to just fill in the model to make it look better. So I can't really walk around the camera. I stepped outside, push the scan button. You have the same little progress bar here that kind of gives you a guide as to how far along it is in the scanning. So we're 3/4 of the way. It's got one more stop and beep, and it always gives you the, after that beep, it gives you the okay to move the camera. So you don't need to wait for it to transfer everything till you move to move the camera. Now, best practice when you're going through a doorway is to get close enough to the doorway so that the LiDAR sensor can see the inside here. So typically I'm about maybe 18 inches or so on either side of the doorway, seems to be fine. Now there again, it's a little hard to walk around the camera, so I'm going to move over here and I'm going to get here and be out of the way, push the scan button. Same thing happening again. You can see the progress bar. And you'll notice since it's here, it'll fill in a lot of this room now because it's got a real good shot at that room. It's done. I can move the camera. It's transferred. Basically, you can see everything. Oh, and it also numbers your scans consecutively. So that's number 4. You can see it's pretty well filled in this room. Now, if you look here, it's seeing through here into that next room. It's also seeing that doorway. So it's far enough away that it probably won't put a mesh there if I scan up here. As long as I scan, when I get here, as long as I open the door there, it probably won't put a mesh from where it could see it here. But I'm not gonna, the next time I scan where it can actually see that doorway, I'm gonna go ahead and prop that doorway open. Just to prevent any problems here. But I'm going to move the camera over here. It can't see that doorway to the exterior, so I'm not going to need to open it yet. You just want to make sure you've got good coverage. And like I said, if you're doing AEC, you want to make sure you get all the corners of the rooms. You just typically want more scans for AEC type of work than you do for just a virtual tour. Now, I'm not doing this in any particular pattern now. I'm just kind of scanning just to basically show you the basics of scanning. You will need to plan if you're doing a virtual tour that you get all the walking points. If you're doing AEC, that you're getting enough data that the camera can see everything. So I'm going to do another scan point here. Now while that's scanning, I'm going to go ahead and walk out here. And I'm going to go up to the front door here. Now this is going to be kind of noisy because the interstate's right here, but I'm hoping you'll still be able to hear me. There we go. Okay, so I got that doorway propped open. That's fine. Get back to my iPad. It's completed scan number 6. So I'm going to go ahead and move. We're going to go there again about 18 inches this side of the door jamb. I'm going to go on the other side, get out of the way. Oh, another tip is if you're, we include these lanyards so you can have basically have the iPad over your shoulder. I don't like this, you know, if you don't have the rotation lock, it keeps spinning back and forth. What I'll typically do is, this is the way I'd like it to display. I'll set the rotation lock so that no matter what position the iPad's in, it's always showing the scan the same way. So I got number 7. That looks good. I'm going to go over here. Doing this one, so this should, you can see there again, it filled in what it could see, but it couldn't see over here. This one should fill in most of that room. Okay, it beeped, so it's okay to move the camera. It's transferred. Okay, so number 8's there. Now this is a good example. Okay, it saw everything here, but this table was blocking, so it couldn't fill in behind here. That table and those boxes are blocking that corner. So you're going to want to make sure that you take the scan points to get that filled in so you've got all the data for this room. So I'm just going to move it here. The Matterport cameras actually are fairly easy to use once you understand some of the basic principles of them. Okay, we've got that scan point. Now another thing that I haven't talked about yet is typically you're going to want to mark windows and mirrors. The reason is that the camera a lot of times will go through glass and put data out there, what they call spray, which really is inaccurate data. You typically want to mark the front side of windows and mirrors, and here's the marking tool here. And it's set up on windows. You got windows, mirrors, and trim. So it's set up on windows. I'm going to put add a window. It puts this little, let me zoom in where you can see a little bit better maybe. Maybe you can see this or not. It puts this little icon here, and it has inside, and there's like little handles on either side. You basically can grab that, pull it up there, grab that, pull it there. That window's inset a little bit, so I'm going to inside set it. And inside, the arrow points to the inside, so that's that's how you've marked there. So you want to mark windows, and you also want to mark mirrors. The trim you use before you upload, typically you trim a model just to clean up the spray around the outside. So we've marked that. I'm going to go ahead and initiate a scan here, but I can't get around, so I'm going to step outside. Go here's of the way and done, so I can go ahead and move back in. It says okay to move the camera. Now I'm going to go ahead over here, and we're going to do the same way, a door going to the exterior, saying that I wanted to add some exterior scans so people could see the front of this building. I'm going to set the camera up here, you know, 18 to 24 inches from the door. Go ahead and initiate a scan. Now if you'll notice here, there's still a little black there. Technically I should set the camera up, say here, where it could see and fill in that area there. I mean, it's not super critical for what we're doing here, but best practices you'd want to fill in so that black wasn't, that area behind those boxes, that get it so the camera could see it. Okay, so now it's captured the outside, and you can see it's sprayed a long ways. The LiDAR sensor really can get pretty good data from a pretty good distance. It's getting the back of those vehicles way out there. Okay, so we've got the first one done, and the same thing. I'm going to go outside here. Now here we've got a thing where the sidewalk is sloped down here, so the camera isn't going to be level. What I typically do in that case is put two legs on the lower side, then I adjust the upper one, so you only have to adjust one leg to get the camera level. The Matterport camera doesn't have to be super leveled. They say within 10 degrees or so it should be fine, even 15 degrees. So as long as you eyeball level it, you should be fine. So I'm outside there, push the scan button. Going a quarter of the way, half the way, and all the way. Beep. Okay, now if you were scanning outside, the idea is you'd want to get maybe the front facade of this building. So when I scanned inside, one wall is here, the other wall is about here, so I want to capture this. And then if I wanted this upper facade here, I'd need to have the camera out far enough that it could see, that the LiDAR sensor could actually see what's up there to give you the information to model it, and of course the picture, so you can visually see what's there. So in this case, I probably would do 6 scans, but I'm only going to do 4 here for the purposes of what we're doing. Okay. So I'm kind of eyeballing the camera for level now. I think that's level. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the scan button. I'm going to walk behind it out here since I can. That's done. Then I'm going to go over here and do one here. You can see where number 13 is there, and number 14 is probably going to be, I'll move it a little bit closer here. Here, push the button. Good. And then I'm just going to do one out here to get the facade. Is really just to give you the idea. But I'm moving the camera out far enough where it can see the facade. The sunlight's probably going to blow the picture out, the visual out, but the LiDAR sensor won't be affected by it at all, and it should get a pretty good reading of what the data is if somebody was going to model that facade. So I hit the scan button. Another thing, if you're scanning outside in areas that are hot, the camera can tend to get overheated after a while, in which case you have to basically take it inside and let it cool down before you can scan again. I've seen some people that have fashioned a kind of a little umbrella type of thing over it to protect it from the sun, and I've heard that works. I don't do a lot of exterior scanning in the hot weather, so I can't really comment as to how well that works. Okay, so that kind of wraps up you know, our super quick scanning guide. Like I say, I encourage you to look at other videos. There's a lot more to it when you get into adding second floors and you know, just other kind of different things that you can run into. But once you've captured the model, I'm going to open up the capture app again. So here's everything that we captured. We did 15 scans. You can open up the preview image on any of these. So here's that last one I did out in the sun, and you can see the sun definitely bleached that image out. But that's not the finished quality. The finished quality is going to be a lot better than that once the model's uploaded and processed. But this just gives you an idea to show you what it is that you've captured. So what you're going to want to do then is that other trim thing. Typically what I would do with this model is I would apply trim lines, and I'd get rid of this extra spray here. So if you go to hit the trim tool and then hit this tool here, add a trim line, you could go in. I'm going to maneuver this, maybe you can see it, but for instance I would put a trim line here, so I'm getting rid of all of that. I'd probably go across there, put a trim line there, get rid of that, and I'd put a trim line down here and get rid of that, and that just makes it cleaner before you upload. And then it's essentially ready to upload. You'll need to log into your account. When you get to a Wi-Fi network, you would want to connect to the Wi-Fi network, and then you're going to go in, and you can see this quick start here. There's no cloud. The other ones have a cloud, these two have a cloud icon with a check mark by it. That means they have been uploaded. This one does not have it. So once you're connected to a Wi-Fi network at home, you've trimmed it, you're ready to upload it. You basically hit the upload button. You will have to have signed into your account. So you go into settings. I'm signed into one of our accounts right now. Let me sign out so you can see what you're going to see. Okay, so this is, you're not signed in. So before you upload, connected to Wi-Fi network, you want to go ahead and sign in, use your credentials you used to set up your account, and then go back to jobs here, click there, and then click upload, and it'll upload. You want to make sure that you stay connected to that same Wi-Fi network while it completes the upload. They usually go pretty quick, although some bigger jobs can take longer. But don't get started uploading and then leave and connect to another Wi-Fi network. We've seen that cause issues. Just make sure the whole thing uploads before you disconnect from that Wi-Fi network. And that's it. This will remain on your iPad as a job. You can go back later and add to it and re-upload it if there's been changes. This is jobs. If you go to all spaces and you're connected to a Wi-Fi network and logged into your account, it's going to show you everything that processed models that are up on your cloud account, your Matterport account. You can download one of those back to your iPad, and then it'll have it show up as a job. So you could, if you didn't have it on your iPad, it's something you scanned a while ago, you could download it back to your iPad, go out to that site, open it up, add more scans to it, do changes, and then re-upload it. So that's just another handy thing to for updating jobs and that. Okay, so that's got it for our super quick start guide for the Matterport camera. The last thing is breaking the equipment down, but I mean, I won't go through that. That's just the opposite of when you put it up. If you've got a rental kit from us, the rental return sticker or the UPS label will be under here. Put that label over top of the other label on the camera, put all the equipment in, put the zip ties on in, drop it off at any UPS store. And always, if you have any questions, this label is on the rental kit. We can be reached at 877-352-6277. Even if you're not renting from us, you just have any Matterport questions in general, always feel free to call that number. And I guess that's got it. Thanks. One quick thing I forgot to mention. By the time this video is published, on all of our rental cameras, there should be 2 QR codes. We'll probably have one here that'll go to this quick start video that I'm doing right now, and we'll have another one there that goes to our series of more in-detail videos about the whole process of scanning and how Matterport works.